Hey guys, did y'all miss me? I bet you missed me. Oh, where have I been, right? Well, I told you guys in my last video that I was about to move, so I was gonna take a break and just focus on moving and on God for a minute because I hadn't really considered God in a really long time. I was so focused on philosophy and politics, and I don't know, I didn't see it as an important issue, which now sounds ridiculous, but at the time it made sense to me. So I took some time off to seek God and I found him. And that might sound corny or like a line, but it's not. I really did. I really found my faith again. Like strong, incredible, with all of my heart faith. And I'd like to share how I did that with you guys. And don't worry, I'm not preaching. I know this looks crazy, but trust me, this is cool. This is so cool. Just wait till we get there. All right. I hope you guys are down for the ride. Welcome to Ashley's Thoughts. Okay, so for most of my life, when I was younger, I did believe in God. I had a horrible experience with the church, and I kind of held that against God. My experience with the church, I held that against God, and so it took me a really long time to find him. I never thought the world's theory on how everything was created was right. Everything is too complicated for there not to have been some kind of creator. But believing in intelligent design and believing in God is not the same thing, because we can be intelligently designed by aliens. It doesn't have to be God just because it's intelligent design. And I know the idea of us being created by aliens might sound strange, but I really did see it as the only other option. Like either we're created by God and a supreme being, or we are stuck here as some kind of alien experiment observatory because everything's too complicated. For example, it's not like they just haven't found the missing link for humans. They've never found a missing link for anything, for any animal ever. Okay, when they find giant mammoths or giant giraffes or whatever, and they said that these are what led to modern giraffes, they have the exact same DNA. It's still a mammoth, it's just bigger. It's still a crocodile, it's just bigger. It's still a shark, it's just bigger. They've never found the in-between animal for anything. So that never made sense to me. But I'd like to share with you guys how I figured out that not only is God real, but the Bible is real. Like for real, written by him, real. And what I had even more doubts about than God was Jesus. Like, it seems too good to be true. It seems like too good to be a real story. So I always had these questions about Jesus. And when I, started finding my faith again, I prayed and I asked God to give me some kind of like faith bumper, something to show me that it was really him and that it's not just all some scheme made up for our government to control us. And then he showed me this. So I'm going to show you guys this. And if you're open to believing in God, this is going to blow your mind. Okay? So what is this? What is this? These are Hebrew letters. This is Genesis 1:1 in Hebrew. Okay? Every Hebrew letter has a number and a picture associated with it. Every Hebrew letter has both a number and a picture associated with it. In fact, sometimes Hebrew letters in ancient times could be used as whole words. And the words of the letters in a Hebrew word help to explain what the word means. So I'm going to start by reading you guys a couple verses, okay? I'd like to read you guys a couple verses, and then we're going to look at this. Okay, Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. Isaiah 48:3, I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them, and I did them suddenly, and they came to pass. Isaiah 48:5, I have even from the beginning declared it to thee. Before it came to pass, I showed it to thee, lest thou shouldest say, mine idol hath done them. My graven image, my molten image hath commanded them. Isaiah 48:12, I am he. I am the first. I also am the last. All right, and now we're going to go to John 8:25. Then they said unto him, who art thou? And Jesus saith unto them, even the same that I said unto you from the beginning. Okay. So now that we've got our scripture references, what does it mean? What does it mean he declared it from the beginning? Like, in the beginning, created God the heavens and the earth. This word is not the. This word, Aleph Tav, is not translated at all. Neither this word or this word. They have the and translated, but that's it. This word is not translated anywhere in the Old Testament. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that there's a word all throughout the Old Testament that people say cannot be translated? Didn't Jesus say every word was important? We'll get to that later. Anyways, so now that we've got the background, I'm going to show you guys the coolest thing you have ever seen in your life. Okay? Y'all ready? Okay, this is the words in the beginning. It's the Hebrew words in the beginning. Like I said, each of these letters have both a number and a picture associated with them. So this is the ancient picture for bait, which is this letter. This, I'm a terrible drawer, so this is a man. This is an ox because they saw their God as a bull. This is an ox. These are teeth representing destruction. This is a hand. Okay? And we're going to save this last letter, okay? Because what the reason I drew the pictures is just because the pictures help show what the letters mean. It's not just me saying that this letter means this word. You learn these things in kid Hebrew school. You know, it helps you distinguish what the letters mean. And so this word, this is temple or floor plan. It's like your blueprint, your layout. This is a man or a son, because the word bar, beit resh, the word bar in the Bible and in Aramaic means son. Okay, because he is the head that comes from the house. It's the son. The strength of the house, Aleph beit, this is Aleph, which is God. Aleph beit, the strength of the house, that means father. Okay, so the floor plan for the son of the father, this is destruction, to destroy through the work. And this is Tav. This is the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet. or Aleph Bet. The Hebrew last letter in the Hebrew alphabet. This is the ancient picture. It's a cross. The floor plan for the Son of God to destroy through the work of the cross. He declared the end from the beginning, right? And you're thinking, well, maybe that's just like a coincidence. For one, there's no Hebrew word for coincidence, but maybe that's a coincidence. Let's keep going. The floor plan for the Son of the Father, that's created. The floor plan for the Son of the Father is created. This is Elohim. This is the name. This is God's title. These two letters, the Yod and the Mem, the final Mem, the Yod final Mem, that makes a word plural. So this is referring to the full Trinity. And you want me to tell you exactly how I know that he's telling you he's a Trinity? Because remember, they don't just have pictures associated with them, they also have numbers associated with them. So let's look at the numbers of Elohim. This is 40, this is 10, this is 5, 31. All right, these three letters make 36. 36 is a perfect triangle number. So if you were to lay out dots like this, oh, I guess you can't really see them. Let me make them bigger. If you were to lay out dots like this and just keep going all the way down, like 1 or 3 is a perfect triangle number, 6 is a perfect triangle number. You keep going, and it gets harder because the more levels you get, the bigger number you have to get, right? So these three letters add up to 36. That's a perfect triangle numbers. The second three add up to 45. These three letters add up to 45, which is also a perfect triangle number. Then the last three letters, they add up to 55, which is also a perfect triangle number. Okay, and then you add them all together and you get 86, which also perfect triangle number. Okay, so 3 perfect triangles within this name. Okay, 3 perfect, every 3 letters. Every 3 letters is a perfect triangle. What do you think? I mean, to me, that says Trinity. He's trying to tell you it's a Trinity. All these perfect triangle numbers. Okay, so we did the triangles, but what do the pictures of Elohim, or God's title, what do the pictures say? God. This is shepherd. This is behold or reveal. Hand. Blood. God, shepherd, reveals through the hand of the blood, or the work of the blood. That is God's name. Aleph Tav. I love this word. I love this word. I love this word because it's cool, okay? This word is throughout all the This word is throughout all the New Testament, or all the Old Testament. All over it. It's all over it. And it's not translated. It's never translated. Sometimes they translate it as the. This does not mean the. It doesn't mean anything. If you click on it, like you go into a reference Bible and you click on it, this is untranslatable. So let's see if we can figure out what it means. What are the pictures? Let's see. That's an Aleph. That's God. And that's a Tav, right? Tav means covenant. Okay? God's covenant. God on the cross. God's covenant. That's what it means. It means a covenant. Okay? And I can tell you this, how I know this for sure. Okay? When God tells Abraham to go sacrifice Isaac on the mountain, he tells Abraham, take your son, your only son whom you love, and go sacrifice him, right? He says that phrase 3 times, your son, your only son. Only there's a problem because Isaac was not Abraham's only son. He had 2 sons. Isaac wasn't even his first son or his oldest son. But if you read it in Hebrew, it says, take et your son. Take et, which is this word. Take et your only son. Take et your son. Take et your only son. Take your son of my covenant, because God made a covenant with Abraham that him and Sarah would have kids. Take your son of my covenant. Take your son of my covenant. Your only son of my covenant, because Isaac was the only son that God had a covenant with Abraham to provide. He told him and Sarah would have a kid, and both of them laughed at him. So he says, take your son, your only son. The only way that is not a contradiction is if this word means God's covenant. What's another, or God's promise? Or what? What's your promise or a covenant? What else could that be? Your word. This is God's word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is the Word. He says, I am the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Aleph, this is the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Tav, this is the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet. God's Word. That's what he's telling you. I am the beginning, the end, the first, and the last. That's what he's saying over and over and over. Okay, so if you read this, knowing that this word is covenant, it says, in the beginning created God a covenant with the heavens. This is and, so it could be and a covenant with the earth. But why is this and? This is and because the ancient picture for this letter is a nail. Because a nail binds, it joins things. That's why it means and. Okay, so he created a covenant with the heavens, but he nailed his covenant to the earth. What? And that's, so when he says, I declared the end from the beginning, this is what he means. Sorry. In fact, there's all kinds of words that do this throughout the whole Bible. For example, and this happens in a lot of Hebrew letters. Okay, I erased the end of the verse so I can show you guys something really cool. Okay, for example, this is the word mountain in Hebrew. To change the word mountain into everlasting mountain, you have to add a yod, you have to add a yod and a vav. You have to add, to make a mountain into an everlasting mountain, you have to add a hand and a nail. And then it reads, behold, the hand of the Son nailed. Behold, the hand of the Son nailed. That's everlasting mountain. Okay? Now, this is going to blow your mind. You want to know what the Hebrew word for sign is? This is the Hebrew word for sign. Okay, and you read Hebrew right to left. The word for sign in Hebrew is God nailed to the cross. That's the word for sign in Hebrew. God nailed to the cross, or God nailed for his covenant. That's the word for sign. Okay? Now, all of this could just be like an elaborate, crazy writing by these old people who just happen to, I don't know, see into the future, to the Messiah, whatever. Maybe all of that's a coincidence. It's not, but maybe it is. But you know what's not a coincidence? You remember how we gave all of these, the letters in Elohim had numbers? Okay, all Hebrew letters have numbers like that. And if you take Genesis 1:1 and you take the number of letters times the product of letters, there's 28 letters. And you multiply them by the product of letters. So you take all these numbers and multiply them. And then you take the number of words, which is 7. And you multiply that. You multiply the 7 times the product of all the words. So what all this multiplied together, the product of all the words, you get these crazy, crazy numbers. But the number of letters times the product of letters, and then divided by the number of words times the product of words, you get you get 3.1415 on to forever. You get pi. You get pi. What are the chances? What's the probability of this being pi? I mean, you're more likely to get struck by your lightning 20 times on the way to your car in a row than for this to be pi. This is pi. You know what pi? Let's see. What's the symbol? What's the symbol? See, Greek letters come from the same place that Hebrew letters do. They're both developments of Phoenician. Okay, these are all Phoenician letters. And Greek also came from Phoenician. Okay, so the Greek pi, or this is how we think of it, but this is how it's written. The Greek pi came from covenant. Pi is the cross. So you do the number of words divided by the number of letters, you get the cross. Okay. All right, so this is just the Old Testament though, right? What about, this doesn't necessarily have to be talking about Jesus. What if there was another guy on the cross? That it could be later. No, and this is why. Because if you take all, for one, well, we'll save that. For one, if you do the same thing to John 1:1, the number of words times the product of words divided by the number of letters times the product of the letters, because Greek, just like Hebrew, has pictures and numbers associated with every single letter. So you do that the exact same thing with John 1:1, and you get Euler's number, which is another irrational number. And like pi describes the relationship of everything to its center point, Euler's number is the perfect limit to infinity. And that's what you get from John 1:1. But there's even more connections than that. Because if you add up all the letters in Genesis 1:1, you get 2701. Okay, which is also a perfect triangle number. Okay, and then if you do that with John 1:1, you get this number. And no, it's not a perfect triangle. You know what it is? It's a perfect trapezoid that just so happens to fit perfectly under the 2701 triangle. Okay? And I hope you guys see that. And we're going to be doing this with other stuff. And it's all going to be very cool. I'm telling you, I found this and I became obsessed. I've really been doing almost nothing but reading the Bible for months. Because look at this. This means God wrote it. Okay? God wrote it. And maybe you have been asking God for a sign. Maybe you've been asking Him for a sign so that you can believe. But He already gave you a sign. Okay? He already gave you a sign. When He nailed Himself to the cross, He gave you that sign. So, that's where I've been. I've been studying the Bible a lot, because that's where the answers are, right? And I always thought the answers are in politics. You know, we got to vote for the right person. We just got to get the right people leading us so that we can find somewhere better. That's not happening. The kings... What led me to my faith again is realizing you cannot have faith in the kings of this world. Why? Because they're sold out. They're sold out. And we'll get to that too. We'll be talking about the kings of this earth and how they're sold out too, because finding that out helped me find my faith. So maybe sharing that with you guys will help some of you find it. But the kings of the earth are taken. They're captive. And we'll be exploring that more. Whew, when I talk about the Masons, guys. I mean, it's not going to blow your mind like this, but it's going to blow your mind. Okay, and we'll be doing this to more stuff. This is just Genesis 1:1. This is just one verse. And we talked a little about John 1:1. So that's 2 verses. Okay, this is beautiful. This is the point. This is the point. Okay, this is why I now believe with all my heart. With all my heart. Because He declared the end from the beginning. So we'll be looking through some more Bible stuff, some more verses. We'll be talking about the kings of this earth. We'll be talking about some of the crazy stuff that's going on that you have never heard of. We'll be talking about Bohemian Grove. We'll be talking about all kinds of things. And I am so excited to get on this journey with you guys. And I hope y'all will stick around. I know you came for politics, but I'm really hoping you stay for God. So, thanks guys. That's it for today. I hope you loved this as much as I did. because it's changed my whole life. And I know what he meant when he said I was blind. And now I see. I see. And hope you guys will see it with me. I love y'all. See you next time. Thanks for watching Ashley's Thoughts.